Hello, everybody. Today we are going to be talking about a show that I shouldn't have put off for this long, but it did come out earlier this year. And I've got so much on my plate, and so much that I'm trying to watch, and so much that I've got to go back and do, and so many recommendations that I'm getting now. So my list just keeps growing in my book as I write stuff down, and I will get to it all eventually. It's just going to take me some time. So yeah, kind of like, and obviously with titles coming out in the theaters, it's been chaotic. So yeah, I'm trying to keep up with the stuff that I was uploading earlier on. Like I'm trying to get some of my stuff out from last year too that I was just so far behind on, and obviously the stuff from this year that I still have to get done. And now I'm rewatching the Jurassic World movies because it's just been a mess. And that those reviews will be coming out probably before this, I would hope. Anyway, but well, who knows? We'll see. It's going to be an interesting time right now while I'm trying to scramble to get stuff get stuff watched and ready, and yeah, actually have the time to sit down recently to do some editing because God God only knows I need to do that. So yeah, but this show Reacher was I'm gonna have to read the books, but I guess this follows the books slightly more than the movies, obviously, because character in the books is described as 6'5", and I guess the actor who plays Jack Reacher in this show, I have liked for a long time because if you've ever seen Blue Mountain State, he played Thad Castle in that, and he was absolutely hilarious in that show and the movie that finally came from it. After I don't know how many fans, including me, wanted another season so badly, we signed petition after petition, I think, and oh my God, we finally got at least something out of it after I don't know how many years of fighting to hopefully get another season is what we were really hoping for, but I guess we'll take the movie because as fans of that show, the movie was worth it. So, but anyhow, in this show, he's quite a bit different. Obviously, he's switched over, I guess, from the comedy from the comedy side to the action side. Although this did have the comedic bits in it for sure in the show, but it was supposed to be taken way more seriously, obviously, and he did a great job as the character, I would say. Um, I wasn't sure how he was going to do after obviously Tom Cruise played Jack Reacher in the movies, and I'm not sure if Tom Cruise is ever thinking about returning as Jack Reacher in a movie, but that would be pretty cool. I'd be down to see that. But I guess Tom Cruise didn't fit the bill as the I guess character in the book would suggest. But I mean, he still did a really good job, obviously, on that scale for those movies. Even though we only got two of them, I would have liked to seen another one. Who knows? I guess I'll have to look at Tom Cruise's upcoming projects to find out, besides Mission Impossible. And now, possibly another Top Gun movie. We'll see. We'll see. That wouldn't that be crazy to think? Isn't that crazy to think about that after 30 years we might get two more Top Gun movies if Miles Teller can convince Tom Cruise to do another one? Now I'm just rambling again. But anyhow, so this show starts off pretty intensely, actually. Obviously, with Jack Reacher landing in this down south. Where was he? Down south. I know it was. I think it was. Oh, I think it was in Texas and in the town of Margrave. I know that much. Was it Texas? Was it Texas or Mississippi? It was one of those two. I know he was in Mississippi at one point. I think it kind of borders, um, or very closely borders those two. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm remembering that correctly. But he runs into trouble right as soon as he lands off the bus because two people are murdered and he has no ID. Um, yeah, like no, no nothing, no like digital footprint, anything. They can't find anything on him besides his military record. And obviously, as we know from the movies, and I would assume the books, is that Jack Reacher is kind of like a drifter character and doesn't really stay in one place for too long. He's kind of just does what he needs to do, and he's in and out. But he gets arrested, obviously, right when he's about to sit down for peach pie, which I'm assuming must be his favorite kind of pie, because otherwise, why would that even be significant that he would have to order that in the very first episode? And I guess it kind of rolls around to the significance when the chief buys him the pie at the end of the show, end of the season 2. Yeah, because we're only in season 1 right now, and I believe this is probably going to be renewed for a second season. I can't see why it wouldn't be. Ah, yeah. Okay, so I'm assuming this is probably going to be next year, maybe? I would imagine. Seeing as, yeah, February 8th. So we don't have to wait too much longer, I guess. That's, well, okay, they had the dates wrong on that, because, yeah, the first episode did not come out after the other episodes. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, so he meets Oscar Finley, who was played by Malcolm Goodwin, and he meets Roscoe Conklin, who was played by Willa Fitzgerald. And then there's obviously the corrupt guys, Officer Baker, played by Hugh Thompson, Chris Webster, played by KJ, Mayor Grover Teal, played by Bruce McGill, and there was a whole... Oh, even the Picard, who was the FBI agent that they got the family to go with, was corrupt as well. And then A.J. Simmons plays Dawson. Christine Couric plays Charlene Hubble. Mark Ben David plays Paul Hubble. And who were the kids? Was it Lucy and Tally? Were those the kids? I wish it said their last names. I'm going to say yes. I believe that is right. Lucy and Tally were the kids, played by Ava Louise Murchison and Ava Chung. Oh, right, and Patrick Garrow played Spivey, or Spivey. And, oh, Curie Graham played Kleiner Sr., who was the owner of Kleiner Industries, who was obviously the huge... yeah, we'll get into that in a second. And then Mariah Sten played Frances Neely. Or Neely. Frances Neely, right. And I don't think... I guess the barber was Mosley, played by Willie C. Carpenter. And I think that was pretty much it. Other than, like, his father and his mother, and then the young him, the actress who played them. But they were kind of like secondary characters, because they were only in the show for a few episodes. Now, who played his dad? Oh, come on. Really? You're gonna give last names of some characters, but not of other characters, IMDb? Like, what's up with that? Anyway. So we find out that one of the people that was killed was his brother. So that's pretty crazy. I kind of had well, I didn't have a feeling until he was in the morgue and starts talking about the body and the way it got the scars, and I was like, oh no, you gotta be kidding me. Like, he wants to be gone, and like, he knows there's been people murdered, and now he's not a suspect, and now he's finding out that it's his brother, so now he's gonna have to stick around, because you know he's gonna go after the people that killed his brother. Especially being ex-military. He even says that in the back of the car at the end of the first episode. I believe it was the end of the first episode, where he says he's going to go after everyone that did this and killed them. And so he does. He has his run-ins with KJ throughout the episodes, and then he obviously has his run-ins with Kleiner. And it's just a huge mess. And they're... Dawson and his crew are taking out everybody that was part of Kleiner's payroll, I guess, one by one. And obviously Hubble is in trouble, and so is his wife and the kids. And I guess she's known for a long time about what he was doing and where he was actually working. And she just kept quiet about it because she was I guess, sort of protecting her family, but not really. Probably would have been better if she just had have said, my husband isn't doing what you think he's doing. He's actually working for this guy, and it's not good because they were laundering money, which is just absolutely crazy. Yeah, the amount of counterfeit bills they were producing and shipping off to Venezuela and making it look like they were doing obviously a different business, but it wasn't that at all. So crazy. And then Hubble got involved in it, and he was supposed to die in prison because whoever had them put them in general population, and they weren't supposed to be in there. They were supposed to be in their own cell, I guess, out of Gin Pop. So that was a huge mess up in the very first episode. And oh, just this show was filled with action, and it was very intense action. Although I will say some of the action scenes did feel kind of repetitive because he is a bigger guy, and I feel like obviously he has the fighting skills, so I think he has probably an advantage over most of the people besides the military guys that were brought up in order to try and take him out, which they had absolutely absolutely no. They were no help. The guys that they brought up, it didn't matter. He always found a way to outsmart everybody, I would say. He was always one step ahead. Because he is a very smart guy, so he was always preparing a little bit before the people that were obviously after him. So yeah, it was cool to watch him outsmart everybody in some of the action scenes. And yeah, the only thing I will say is just because he was a bigger guy, some of the action scenes felt repetitive sometimes, where he was just using the same starting move, like the just giant elbows to the face. And I was like, ah, come on, get him to do something else, because he's not going to throw the same the same punch or same elbow every time he starts a fight. That's just unless it's like a go-to move for him, maybe. I don't know. But I just felt like they could have, yeah, done something different each time he fought instead of just making him, yeah, do that move, because it just seemed like he's almost winning the fight too easily, except for when he fought the guy at Hubble's house, when he finally takes out the team that's been killing everybody. And oh, the deaths in this were just crazy, and some of it was kind of heartbreaking to see, because when they kill the second two people that were involved, the one cop and his wife was pregnant, and so they killed three people. They probably didn't know that she was pregnant, obviously, when they killed her, but yeah, it's just yeah, because she was really far along, so yeah, like, rough. Anyway, yeah, so that was a little bit tough to watch, and obviously the first guy that they killed when he was crucified to the wall, like, Jesus, these people were just sadistic with their killings. And yeah, he meets Roscoe in the very first episode, and you can kind of you can tell he's interested in her right from the beginning, and their relationship kind of blooms over this season. So it wasn't like, oh my God, they just met and now they're going to kiss automatically. Like, yeah, the the story between the two of them, it felt like it developed naturally over time, like that they kind of just fell for one another. And he even says in the last episode that if anybody could keep him where he was, it would be her. But she says, if you ever come back here, you have my number, and she gives him her number. So you know they're probably going to be reconnected at some point, I would imagine. Probably not through the best of circumstances, seeing as the last episode was them raiding the compound that they were laundering the money out of, and just absolutely kill everybody. So nobody's left. No bad guys are left in Margrave now, that's for sure. And the deaths in this were just brutal, and him breaking bones, and just the action scenes, besides some of the repetitive natures in them, were absolutely intense. So yeah, kudos to that, because this was definitely an action television show for sure. And yeah, him finding out who his brother's murderers were, And obviously you knew as soon as KJ said, "I murdered your brother," like, you're not gonna live. Like, but thankfully Reacher is a lot smarter than me, because I would have jumped him right there. As soon as he said, "You killed one of my family members," yep, everything is off the table. I would have, like, I would have just jumped him there. If I got shot, I got shot. If not, then I guess I would have gotten maybe a couple punches in before I was shot by one of the other guys. What else is there to say about this show? I don't really know, other than I gave it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, 8 out of 10 for sure. That's just what I felt it. Yeah, that was one of those things that I didn't feel like it deserved a higher rating. I think it was because of the action sequences being somewhat repetitive at times, but that was the only real downfall to the show, because the story was great. Yeah, everything felt natural in the show, because I know a lot of shows it feels like the love interest just kind of happens right off the hop, but he had to kind of build a relationship with Roscoe and develop an actual love interest with her. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, here she is and we're in love. And obviously she had feelings for him too, because she was helping him throughout the entire way, even though it was mostly through Finley's kind of persistence to follow Reacher, and then she kind of goes against orders and takes him out to the bar, and they go dancing and all this other stuff. So she played a part in it too, because obviously you could tell that she was interested in him. And yeah, then it just ends up developing into them being together. And she made the first move, because when they were in the one motel, he says he's going to go have a shower, and she just follows him in. So she was the one to initiate that part of their relationship. And even though she says, "Oh, this doesn't change anything," it definitely did, because he felt as though he needed to protect her after that, and she was adamant that she didn't need the protection. And then when he says about, he goes, "Before my brother died, that was the only person I cared about. And then after my brother died, I didn't really feel like I cared about anybody anymore." And then he said, "And then I met you." So she goes, "Oh my God, okay, he's not just protecting me because I'm a woman, he's protecting me because he actually cares for me and doesn't want to see me die." So, yeah, I would like to see the two of them together on screen again, because those two actors had great chemistry. And so I hope they meet again in the second season, because that would be really cool. Other than that, I don't think I can say much more about the show, because I think I pretty much explained the story as he goes along and puts the pieces together of who killed his brother and why he was killed, and obviously his brother discovering what was going on, and then him putting the pieces together of that. It was just, yeah, it was a very detective type show for sure, with lots of action. So yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, I would say it was kind of similar to The Terminal List, but a little different. But in respect, it was almost the same kind of story, except told in almost like backwards. Like everybody, yeah, I'm kind of trying to compare the two. Yeah, I guess it was kind of a similar story. Like, people get killed, and then he goes after the people that have killed the people that he loves. Yeah, yeah, kind of the same premise, but different in a way. Because it's not like Reacher had a list of people and he wasn't getting screwed over. He just, yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I don't want to go off on a whole ramble about how the two shows are almost the same, because, but both of them are good in their own respect, obviously. Anyhow, I guess that's it for this review, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.